For most of you, there is a massive gap between best practices that you learn and study and the reality that you live in at your plant. I've concluded that for reliability and maintenance and best practices and in the community that we all belong to, we do not have a technology problem. We do not have a process understanding gap. And the lack of knowledge from best practices is not our issue. Yet, we continue to send people to training, we continue to buy new tools, look for tools, find that magic technology solution to help us win the reliability game. Reliability, like safety, is a culture. And as we all know, culture eats your plans for breakfast. So managers are left wondering, do best practices even work here? Is this what good looks like? I remember going through that. And my favorite is that we are different. I'm Joe Kuhn. I'm an advisor to Noria's Reliable Plant magazine. In the areas of sustainability and change. I've been a leader for decades in a Fortune 500 company in maintenance, in operations, plant management, and as the global director of reliability and maintenance for that company. Let's look at culture change, okay? I have two models for this. A simple change pyramid where the gist of it is change happens one experience at a time. All you need to do is create new experiences. And ADKAR, many of you have heard this acronym. It stands for awareness, desire, knowledge, actions, reward, and recognition. In the link that I'll have attached here on my website and on the Noria site, I will refer to these two models. What gets overlooked and most commonly rushed through is the culture aspect of these change models. I recommend something called a touch plan, and I've got this detailed in the attachment as well. This is how you're going to reach out and touch every single employee in the culture to create the experience and help them connect the dots of the experience for the change that you're trying to drive. Okay, so a touch plan has 5 parts. They're meetings. It can be a kickoff meeting, can be summary meetings, status update meetings. Everybody does these things. Postings, maybe putting some propaganda out in the areas about what you're doing. It can be email, can be publications to the employees. It can be reward and recognition for the employees, like buying them a lunch, could be promoting some people. But one of the things that gets missed is one-on-one discussions. So I'm going to talk about, I'm going to expand on a reward and recognition for a best practice I want to talk about. And then I want to talk about one-on-one discussions that will really take your touch plan to another level of performance. Okay. So inside of reward and recognition, we do public recognition, we do newsletters, meetings, promotions, salary changes, things like that. But the best practice I wanted to highlight is handwritten notes to home. These are refrigerator-worthy notes mailed to somebody's home. Looks like a birthday card, but has inspirational sayings on it. I have a link attached to some cards that you can purchase off Amazon. What you want to do is write a handwritten note on there talking about the behavior of one person, linking that to results, linking that to the change that you're trying to drive. Short handwritten note, got an example in the attachment. Very impactful. You mail this to the person's home, make them discuss this with their significant others or their family. Make sure you're specific. Don't be general. And these need to be handwritten by the leader. Connect the dots to the business challenge and thank them in this note. Again, I got an example of this in the attachment. Set a goal of writing 1 to 2 per week. Not everyone's going to get one of these, and not everybody, I kept track. I didn't want to give anybody more than 2 in a 1-year period, so I kind of tracked this. But this was massive to drive change one-on-one. There's so many people in your organization that have never been thanked. People that have worked in your organization for 10, 20, 30 years maybe on midnight shift, maybe they're just doing a great job, but nobody's ever recognized them for doing a great preventive maintenance job and being a mechanic with a lot of precision and craftsmanship to what they do. Handwritten notes, so powerful. One-on-one discussions. Again, this is almost always excluded from a touch plan. We all have those 10% bad employees that we, identify and unfortunately spend way too much time on. Focus on the 90%. This is a trap for most leaders. They always focus on the 10%. Focus on the 90%. It'll change your leadership career when you do this. What would happen? Imagine if we would reach out to the 90% each month with a one-on-one conversation. You walk up to them and say, "What are you doing?" Connect the dots with what they're doing to the change, to the master plan for your department, R&M. Ask for their support in the change that you're trying to drive. If they're really cantankerous, ask them to give you 90 days. If they say, "Hey, we've tried change before, you're not the first leader here," just say, "Hey, give me 90 days and I'll get back to you." Ask for that commitment one-on-one. It really changes things when you do this one-on-one. Now, this may sound overwhelming, but as a lead team, divide and conquer. Imagine you have 50 craftspeople. 90% is 45. So if everybody does, if you have 7 people on your lead team, and if everybody does, 6 to 7 of these each month, you got all 45 covered, okay? You rotate this each month, so I've got this 7, next month I got this 7, the next month I got this 7. So everybody is having a 5 to 10 minute conversation, connecting the dots, telling them they're important, genuinely, and showing them how the plan is coming together and asking for their commitment. I'm telling you, nobody's missed. And if somebody does get missed when you audit this once a month, the commitment is within 48 hours, you're going to make that up. Many will be converted one-on-one. Mob mentality takes over in meetings. You've been there. You start talking about a change and some loud people in the back start throwing out comments. Everybody's laughing. That's not where really change happens. You need to have these meetings one-on-one. Makes all the difference in the world inside a touch plan. Give the good employees, the 90%, a chance to excel. Give them an opportunity for feedback, to listen to them, and to see your vision. Like I said, there's going to be a link in this Reliable Plant magazine, also on my website, that details a comprehensive touch plan. Makes all the difference for change. Okay, now let's move on to sustainability. I'm referring to sustaining the change, the culture, the best practices that you just deployed. There's no sense in driving change if you're not going to sustain it, okay? You cannot assume the behavior, the discipline, and the action will last forever. There's something called drift, where you start out with a standard and then it just drifts away at some rate. Most of the time it's pretty fast because a new challenge, a new business distraction comes up, new people come up. So you've got to have a plan for sustainability. My solution is called process management. I adopted it from quality systems, which we focus on process control, discipline, auditing, and sponsorship. In a nutshell, process manager is assigned to focus on each process. For example, you may have a process manager of planning and scheduling. You may have a process manager of kitting. You may have a process manager of problem solving. So you have a disciplined procedure on how do you go about each one of these. Process managers define the process. First thing, that may be for planning and scheduling. Hey, we're going to have a meeting on Tuesdays where we're going to discuss the next 5 weeks of schedule, and only kitted jobs get on next week's schedule. We're going to review these KPIs. Here's the agenda. Here's who attends. So that is audited. And reported on monthly to top management with the results versus the standard. You have a process to control changes to that process, that planning and scheduling. You have corrective actions that are issued against that standard. Perhaps it's somebody's not attending or you're deviating from the agenda. All process management processes follow the same discipline. Every one of them are exactly the same. Processes are color coded to show in a dashboard manner where they're at, where you are in status for top management. For example, blank, you're color coded blank. You have planning and scheduling, you have color coded blank. That means you have no system. We're not doing anything. Red means you're controlling outputs. Maybe it's some KPIs, percent planned work or something like that. You're yellow if you're red, doing the outputs, plus controlling inputs. Inputs are things like meeting attendance, okay? Following the agenda, okay? You're green if you're yellow, plus you're in control and capable for 6 months. So for 6 months of these weekly planning meetings, you're following the schedule, you're following the discipline just perfectly. You got change control, you got corrective action control, the right person's leading the meetings, you're tracking these KPIs, you are green. And purple means you've been doing it for 12 months. So imagine you have all these R&M systems like kitting, planning, scheduling, problem solving, unplanned work, PMs, PDMs, wrench time. You have all these in managed processes, and you have a color code on where each one of them is in their evolution of process discipline, process control. And you can see it that these two are purple, these two are green, these two are yellow. This one's blank. What's going on? Why are we behind? In my opinion, don't even do best practices if you're not going to put in sustainability systems like process management. Don't even waste your time. We do this for quality. We do it for safety. We do it for environmental things. Reliability needs to be no different. It needs to be a process. Process management works. Again, I have a link on this Reliable Plant magazine and on my website. Look for the words process management where I detail this approach. In summary, a touch plan is critical to your change effort. Critical. Add the best practice of handwritten notes to home and add the best practice of one-on-one discussions with employees to your touch plan. It will be huge and really will be the highlight of your month as a leader. I love doing these things. I really enjoyed them. Sustaining change must be a priority and must be planned for. You must have a system for doing it. I use a best practice called process management to ensure that these change efforts that we work so hard on to put in place are sustained and provide the foundation for continuous improvement and future step changes. This is Joe Kuhn, out.